lovely community event.
She thanked everybody.
So yes, we do want to talk a little bit about the importance of spay neuter, both to the individual animal and that animal's person and people, and also the community impact. Spay neuter is healthier for the animal because it can completely prevent and eliminate a couple of kinds of cancer that animals get cancer too, unfortunately. And may I just take a personal moment to say cancer sucks. But, and also there's a condition that, and when I speak, I'm going to speak mostly probably about cats because that's what I know. We are a cat rescue, but it also applies to dogs. A condition that can afflict both female cats and dogs called pyometra, which is a life-threatening infection that can quickly turn fatal, actually, very quickly, in unspayed cats and dogs, females. So it also prevents and helps eliminate or alleviate at least some unpleasant behavioral challenges such as aggression, which can be present in both cats and dogs, territorial marking in cats, you know, the ever popular spraying, it can eliminate that. Cats going into heat every few weeks is, it's not fun for the cat. So for the community impact, those of us who work with cats and cat rescue, this time of year is particularly challenging and heartbreaking. We call it kitten season, which is not nearly as fun or cute as it sounds. And what that means is that this time of year, because of the prolific breeding cycle of cats, unwanted litters are flooding into shelters, flooding into rescues, being found at an overwhelming rate. And because of California's temperate climate, the season is really pretty much all year round, frankly. It's just worse. Some months that are warmer, because in colder climates, it literally kind of chills the romance. So the cats don't breed year round as much as they do. But here, blessed with the climate that we have, it is pretty much a year round thing. So what that means is that these kittens are being found. They're coming into shelters at a rate that exceeds the shelter's capacity to care for them. These unwanted litters are coming into the shelter every day. They need to be, they're often sick. They need to be fed 2 to 3 hours all through the night. Shelters aren't open 24 hours. That means that's where rescues step in. That's why fosters are so important. But no matter what we do, we just can't keep up with that fire hose of unwanted litters coming at us. And cats particularly are just extraordinarily adapted breeding machines. Cats can actually get pregnant at 4 months old. 16 weeks old, a 16-week-old kitten can get pregnant. And then their gestation is approximately 63 days. They can go into heat again while they're still nursing the first litter. So they can have several litters throughout the year. And as the female becomes more and more physically depleted herself by those repeated pregnancies, the litters tend to be more subject to birth defect, illness, and these are not like happy little mom and kittens curled up in a basket kind of scenarios. These are desperate, heartbreaking, sick cats and kittens that come to us, if they come to us, if they're lucky enough to come to us, or just sometimes they just perish out there. Sorry, it's a little bit grim, but this is what we're faced with. Sometimes I hear people say, well, I just want my cat to have one litter, and children witness miracle birth, all that kind of stuff. So to them, I would say, talk to a shelter worker, talk to a rescue person, or better yet, go volunteer at a shelter for a week, for a day during this time of year, and watch those litters come in the door, one after another. And the shelter workers trying to find a rescue, a foster, for too many, and for too many of them, that's where their stories and their tiny little newborn lives end. So that is the reality of it, and that is why the community impact, it saves heartbreak, it saves money, because the shelters have to try to care for those cats as best they can, and it takes up their resources. If somebody wants to experience the miracle of birth, talk to any shelter. If they don't have a pregnant cat that day, they will, and you can foster, which is an absolutely wonderful way to give back and to save those lives. So we look at ways of saving lives as adoption, which is why so many are here today, and thank you for that. Adoption and fostering, rescue, transport is an important tool, and foundational to that, my opinion, is spay neuter. It makes everything else, all those other strategies. It's not an we either need to do this or do that. It's a do everything. We have to do everything. This is a crushing problem. We have to do everything as hard as we can, over and over again. So spay neuter will help turn down that faucet, turn down that fire hose coming at us, and make the other strategies more impactful. So what our organization, Hill and Sanders Kappa, has done is we invested with some generous donations in a spay neuter trailer. We just got licensed like in the last really month or two and are putting that all in place. So we've yet to really roll it out. So some of the questions that might come up are, where will clinics be held, and how much is it going to cost? And initially, once we do a test run to make sure everything is working, initially we're probably going to be somewhere in the Long Beach area. Follow our page on Facebook or Instagram, and once we are ready to roll out publicly, we'll post that and post where clinics will be scheduled. As for cost, we're hoping to keep under or around $150. And in some cases, if we can get grantors or funding or sponsors, we're hoping to maybe even be at no cost for some economically disadvantaged areas and populations. We do have obviously operating costs. We have to pay the veterinarian and the tax. We have overhead. So we will be continuously fundraising, looking for sponsors and grantors on that. So a lot of this is yet to be determined. And again, follow our page and Instagram and Facebook, and when we're ready to roll it out, we will post where all that is going to be. So, and please, we're at the back of we're kind of by the fence, just straight back there. So please, if you have a moment in between shopping and adopting, stop by and pop in and take a tour and say hi. So thank you all for coming out, adopt away, and have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.